Charlie Rose, your your hour show is one of the most insightful shows on PBS. I really love it. I can remember back in the 80s being a young guy, and I was working on a security shift. I was working as a security guard at that time. And we had a TV there, and this is where I first became aware of Charlie Rose, because it was late night and there was nothing on, and I was a PBS fan from my time in New York, and I was new to Las Vegas, so I really wasn't really familiar with any of the channels or anything like that. So I decided to turn to PBS, but I never watched PBS that late before, and I saw this guy in an all black background with a table sitting across from someone. I don't even remember who it was at the time, but I just remember that the conversation was absolutely fascinating. And since then, the years have come, the years have gone, but I've tried to watch you as much as I can. I am so glad that you recovered from your heart condition. That was a time that I did worry about you, and I was concerned about your welfare and your well-being. So just to let you know, I am a great fan, and also to let you know that I do know whereof I speak when I offer advice to you. Um, you are an excellent journalist. And you ask very good, very poignant questions, and your guests, the spectrum that you have is absolutely wonderful. I love the spectrum of your guests, from one side of the political spectrum to the other side of the political spectrum, from one side of the art scene to the other side of the art scene. I mean, pretty much, I just love the no limits feel of your show. That you pretty much, anyone who interests you, or anyone who really catches your interest, you can sit them down right in front of you and, hey, let's talk about it. I like that. Okay, enough of the nice, kind, fluffy stuff. What don't I like? Okay, this is what I don't like. Sometimes, Mr. Rose, when you're doing an interview, you will ask a really good question of the person that you're interviewing. That person will start to answer that question, and in the middle of their answering that question, you will cut them off and ask another question. And then they'll start to try and work into that question, and you'll cut them off and ask another question. I've seen you do this, and to the point where it's been distracting to me, because sometimes the question that you ask is so great, I really want to hear them answer that question in whole. And you don't give them that chance, because you'll hit them with a barrage of different questions. I know that number one, you're very passionate about the people that you interview, and number two, you only have a certain amount of time, so you really want to get all of your questions in. I totally can understand that, and I can totally see myself, actually, if I was in your shoes. You know, I can't say that I would cut people off quite as much. I'm not that. I'm more of a listener, you know, but I could definitely see how it would be very tempted to do this. But you are a journalist par excellence. There is no one in your field that I think is going to question your abilities and your contributions to journalism, and your ability to make all of us aware. To anyone who is within the sound of my voice, who is watching this, Charlie Rose on PBS, usually around 11 o'clock at night, depending on where you are, you're going to catch him on the weekdays. Definitely, he is definitely worth the watch. If you're a person who stays up late night and you're watching, David Letterman, or you're watching Jay Leno, you know what? You're wasting a good deal of brain space. You could really be expanding your mind and be getting great amount of entertainment by watching this gentleman. But Mr. Rose, I would still humbly submit, very humbly submit, to please give your guests time to answer the questions that you put before them. Allow yourself a moment to breathe in between each question. If you were to give yourself a chance to breathe in between each question, I think that you would get a lot more out of your interview, and I know we, the viewing public, would definitely get a lot more out of your interview. That's my advice. That's the only peeve that I have with a wonderful, wonderful show. I think the people who produce it are great. I think the idea of having that all black background and that just the table and just you and just the other person, nothing else to distract you. I mean, I love that. I think that that's great. It keeps everything on point. No frills, no bells, no whistles. It's just two human beings talking about the other person's, you talking to another person about their passion. And that passion alone is more than enough to light up that whole studio system. So that's my only thing. I've been wanting to get this out for some time, and I have the ability to do so now. So that is my humble advice to you, Charlie Rose. Thank you very much for your time. Rock out.